Hey foodie friends, so today we are going to make my potato leek soup. Now, let's get saucy. All right, foodie friends, like I said, potato leek soup, we're gonna jump right in here. I've got a pan heating up here over high heat. I'm just gonna go in with some olive oil. You could do olive oil and butter, you could do just olive oil, you could do any other oil that you want, really. Any neutral oil would be good for this too, so like a vegetable oil, avocado oil. So into that, I'm going to do my leeks that have already been washed really well and drained. So with leeks, you know, they grow in sand. So inside those layers of the leek, they get a lot of sand in there. So when I slice them to saute the leeks themselves as well, I like to cut them down the center, slice them into strips, and then get them in either a big bowl or throw them in my sink full of water and really wash them really, really well. So all that sand can fall to the bottom, because you don't want your soup to be gritty with sand in it. That's just not delicious. So along with that, I'm gonna add one regular onion and a bunch of garlic in here. So we're just gonna go ahead and sweat these down and saute them to soften everything up a bit. And then once that's good and soft, we're gonna come back in and add our potatoes. So I already have some potatoes that I just kind of cut into medium, smallish cubes, and I've got them soaking in water so they don't go brown. So I'm just gonna let this cook a little bit. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper in here, and I also have some dried thyme. This is thyme that I dried myself. I had a whole bunch of thyme, so I just took this and put it in a really low oven for a couple of hours and let it dry out. And so I'm gonna probably, I don't know, teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of that in there, and some salt and pepper. And of course we can adjust this seasoning at the end after we finish cooking and puree our soup. Now, one of the things I really love about this soup is it's great hot, but it's also great cold. And I live in Florida, so I love a cold soup. So you can serve this either way. I'm probably gonna serve it cold, but like I said, you could serve it hot too. Smells so good already, foodie friends. So everything's getting nice and soft in here. I don't know how well you can see that, but everything's getting nice and soft in here. The aroma is amazing. You can smell, of course, the leeks and the onions, that garlic and that thyme in there. So we're getting to a good point. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes, and then we'll go in with our potatoes and our stock. We're almost there. It doesn't take that long, right? The longest thing that we're gonna have to do is wait for it to chill afterwards. If you want to eat it chilled. If not, you can eat it right away. All right, we've got a few more minutes here and this looks amazing. So it's cooked down quite a bit. You can see when I put this in here, my pot was pretty much half full and it's cooked down quite a bit. So we're now gonna go in with our potatoes. So I had my potatoes, like I said, that I had already cut, and I had them soaking in water so they didn't turn brown. So we're just gonna throw our potatoes in, and then our stock. Now I'm using a ham stock. This is a ham stock that I made myself with my Christmas ham bone and just had in the freezer. You could obviously use chicken stock, you could use vegetable stock, you could use water, but again, I say this all the time, anytime I'm gonna use liquid in something, it's gonna be stock because it's gonna add so much more flavor. So I'm gonna put enough of this in. I had heated this up in my microwave a little bit. There's still a little bit of ice in it because some of it was still a little frozen, but I'm gonna cover this potatoes with this stock, and we're just gonna bring this up to a boil, and then we're gonna let it cook until the potatoes are tender. So that's probably gonna take like 15 to 20 minutes, and we will come back and finish off our soup when the potatoes are good and tender. All right, foodie friends, our soup has been bubbling away here for about 15-20 minutes, and our potatoes are good and fork tender at this point. So you can just grab one of your potatoes and check it. If your fork goes in really easily, then they're done. So we're ready to puree this. Now, I am going to use my blender for this. You could use an immersion blender for this if you wanted to. I just like this to be really, really super silky smooth. So I like my Vitamix or a high plat. I like it to be really silky smooth. So I like my Vitamix or some other high powered blender for this. A regular blender too, you just might have to blend it a little bit longer. So I'm setting that aside, and let me get my blender base and I will be right back. All right, so if you're doing this in a blender, I want you to be really, really careful, because the heat in here can blow the top off of this. So don't fill your blender any more than probably halfway full. And what I like to do then is I hold the blender top on. I'll put a towel over it, hold it down, because if you've ever had that happen and it pops off and you've been splashed with hot soup, that is not fun. So we're gonna go ahead and do this in a couple of batches. Lid goes on, cover it with a towel, and we're just gonna go ahead and blend it up. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm gonna chill my soup. So I have a bowl here set inside of another bowl with some ice and some water, and actually put some salt in there because that'll bring down the temperature even colder. And I'm just going to pour our pureed soup in here so that way it can get a head start on the chilling. Hopefully I don't end up with water all over my counter, but it looks like I probably will. So I'm just gonna continue pureeing this in batches until it's all done, and then we'll be back. All right, foodie friends, so I finished pureeing our soup, and I absolutely did end up with water all over my counter, but I'm close enough to the sink that it wasn't a huge disaster. So it's chilling here. I'm gonna give it a quick taste and maybe add some more seasoning. Definitely needs more salt. Potatoes, you know, potatoes take a lot of salt, so gonna add some more salt. It's also, because I'm gonna serve this chilled, that's gonna dull your taste buds a little bit, so it's not gonna taste the same as it does cold when it's hot. So I'm going to let this chill out. I'll probably pop it in the fridge so that it's getting cold from all the angles, and stir it occasionally. And then once it's chilled, we'll come back and finish it up with our garnishes. All right, foodie friends, so our soup is still chilling in the fridge. Gonna give that a few more minutes. It's getting there, it's getting nice and cold. But meanwhile, I'm going to finish up our leek oil. So this was just the leek tops that I chopped up and blanched for about 60 to 90 seconds. And then I got them nice and dry and added them in with some oil and a little bit of salt to my blender and blended them up. I didn't get them too fine because we want to strain this out. We don't want a bunch of chunks of leek passing through the strainer. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a press. We're going to get this beautiful green oil with a little bit of leek essence in it. We're just going to drizzle a little bit of that on top of our soup, and it's going to be absolutely delicious. I'm so excited for this. I just love this chilled potato leek soup, and I hope you guys are going to like it too. Right, foodie friends, our soup is ready, so we're just going to ladle up a nice bowl of it here. And then we'll give it a little drizzle of this beautiful leek oil. And then, for a little bit of crunch and texture, let's put on some of these crispy fried onions. I know they're kind of usually good around the holidays. And that is our soup. All right, foodie friends, so that's our delicious soup. I'll give it a little taste here. It's amazing. It's so creamy, even though there's no cream in there. The starch from those potatoes really make it super velvety. And the flavor is amazing. That little bit of the leek oil on there just gives a fruitiness from the olive oil and a little background from the leek greens and the crunch of these crispy onions on here. It's so delicious. You guys are definitely going to want to make this. Again, you can customize it. Do it with vegetable broth if you want it to be vegan. Add cream if you want. Add butter if you want. Use chicken stock. Doesn't matter. It's all going to be delicious. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for joining me here on Getting Saucy with Chef Lynn. There will be a link to the full written recipe in the description box below. You can follow me across all social media at Chef Lynn Wheeler. And, of course, my website, cheflynnwheeler.com, where this and all of my recipes are. And thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time. So good.